Welcome back to the channel. You might be wondering what I'm sitting in today. This is a car that's grown in India. This, my friends, is the DC Avanti. The DC Avanti is one of those cars that were produced in India by a famous automobile designer called Dilip Chhabria. You might have heard of Dilip Chhabria. Well, Dilip Chhabria had a lot of pressure on his mind to make a sports car that the Indian roads could handle. And by Indian roads, I mean the potholes, the humps, the speed breakers. Well, I would say he did give you a very nice and elegant looking car. This, my friends, is the DC Avanti. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's skip to a montage and I'll let you know more about it. Let's do this. Fight! Like I said, this is the DC Avanti. DC Avanti is one of those cars that is homegrown in our beautiful country, India. Well, I wouldn't call this a sports car, of course, but I can say it's a decent car for the price it's offering. Well, the DC Avanti started with 37 lakh rupees as its base price. The Avanti only has one variant, that is the petrol manual variant, and this, my friends, is the 310th anniversary edition of the DC Avanti. Well, let me close the door so I can give you a better look. So you can see this Avanti is having a special, paint scheme, of which it has a combination of black and orange. Black and orange were only available as a 310th anniversary edition, and the normal Avantis are only a single tone color that are maybe like red, blue or yellow, which you might have seen in other videos. Many people, actually would actually say this car is a Ferrari or a Lamborghini because of the way it looks. Of course, it does look its part, but it isn't a Lamborghini and nor is the Ferrari. But this, my friends, is the DC Avanti. Let me show you what all this car has to offer and what you could expect driving this car, because the expectations, keep it a little low because it's India's first homegrown sports car. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Let me show you what the quick walk around of this vehicle and you can judge for yourself. Let's do this. Well, this is how the front of the Avanti looks. The Avanti looks pretty nice compared to other cars in the showroom, but the Avanti is actually worth only, today in this showroom, the car price is somewhere around 21 lakh rupees, and for 21 lakh rupees you can be taking this car home. Well, would you be wanting to? Well, let's start from the front for me to explain my point. Well, even though this car looks killer, it does get a halogen bulb and LED combination setup as for its headlight. It does have air intakes, but the engine is in front, so it doesn't really matter. As you can see, the Avanti also gets frame doors. Yes, you heard me right. These are frame doors. Okay, a lot of sports cars you have seen, even the Gallardo, like my previous videos, have frameless doors. This car has frame doors. Even though it doesn't make a lot of difference, but you can see this door is wide. This car, actually, as I told you, is a petrol variant. So this Avantis were only offered in petrol variants with a manual transmission, not even an automatic. So this is a manual transmission, 6-speed gated manual transmission with a 4-cylinder. Yes, you heard that right. This car runs a 4-cylinder. I will show you that engine in a while, okay? But is this worth 21 lakhs? Is it worth your 21 lakhs? Let's try that again. The Avanti comes with a side badging. So it does say Avanti on the door panel on both the left side and the right side. The front wheels and rear wheels are actually different sized, if you see. This is nothing but your 255, 35, 20-inch tires. It does have this in the back, this in the front, and these rotors might be a solid 13 to 14 inches, and also gets the lug pattern, the normal lug pattern that all cars get. It does have a DC branding there, but it is pretty subtle. But when you move to the back, since this car is rear wheel drive, DC decided that it's actually a better option to give it a better tire size. By better sizes, I mean a great size. I'm going to give you a lot of chuckle, but you can see that this is a 295 30 R20. So this rear actually is a lot more girthier, if that's the right word, compared to the front tire, because all the power comes to the rear wheels. Well, I wouldn't say what DC did was the right thing, because it still has a 4-cylinder from a Renault Duster. Since the DC Avanti was one of the first cars that Dilip Chhabria bought towards India, people were actually shocked because DC does very good work in the interior. When I show you the interior, you understand what I'm saying. So let me just open the door here, and you can see this is the interior of the car. So the interior of the car, it does have a digital gauge, but which is a little laggy. Well, Dilip Chhabria thought, when you need such a nice sports car, do you need safety? Of course not. So therefore, it does not have an airbag even for the driver as well as the passenger. Let us get in the car so that we can discuss a lot more. Well, do I fit in the car? That's the first case. Let's do that test first. Let's do the test if I fit in the car. And if I do, let's continue the vlog, shall we? Well, I do happen to fit in the car. Well, not so comfortably. Let me explain why. As you can see, the headroom of the vehicle is a lot less compared to the other vehicles. Because DC had, well, DC, I mean Dilip Chhabria, had to improve the ground clearance of the car, they had to reduce the roof line so that a person could still get the low car feel while driving the DC Avanti. Even though this is a 310th anniversary edition, it doesn't look a lot more different compared to the normal DC Avanti. Well, the only difference is the paint scheme, and that's it actually. That's where the difference ends. Here's, I'll take you a tour towards the interior, and then you can decide for yourself if this car is worth. So this is the interior of the DC Avanti. As you can see, this steering wheel is a 3-spoke wheel with a horn in the center. It does have DC branding but has no airbags. There's the engine start-stop button and also a hazard light button. Well, this is a digital gauge, but I think you need the key for that, and the key is not with me currently. The door panels are nice and long. They do have window switches. You can see there are only two window switches. That's because, well, it's self-explanatory. The door panels are quite wide. So when you close the car, you can see, well, it's suffocating, so I'm going to still open it. You can see this car's gauge. Well, this is the Avanti's gauge. You can see that it's barely done 1,244 kilometers, and that looks like a pretty decent gauge to me. But I tell you what, it lags. Okay, so you got basic stuff, the wipers, and even the rear wiper. Okay, no, it does not have a rear wiper, that's the splasher. And on this side it has the headlights and the indicator control. Well, okay, that's okay enough. So we do have a 6-speed manual, as I told you. This, you can see the R is in the first. We got 1 2 3 4 5 6. So when you, this is first and this is second, so that it is a little stiff. It's more on the stiffer side actually. So this is the climate control, which looks something out of an Maruti Suzuki Alto, but this is what you get in a 21 lakh rupees car. Well, used 21 lakh. The owner did a very nice thing. The first thing he did when he got this car was fit a Pioneer system, a music system in the car. So I actually should check how the music system sounds, but again, copyright claims, so I'll do that maybe on Instagram. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, because the Octavia video and the DC video will actually, well, I would actually announce there when the Octavia and the DC videos will be out. Thanks. So let us continue from the passenger side. First problem in the passenger side starts here. Well, as you see, I have long legs. This, my friends, is actually the wheel well. So the wheel well actually protrudes into the interior, which actually makes the passenger have to put one leg in front and the other leg all the way down. That's really smart of DC, I tell you. Does it get a glove box? Yet it does get a glove box, but it's pretty tiny. Well, actually there is actually no sufficient storage space. The storage space in the DC Avanti is nothing but nil, zero, nada. And by that I mean, since it has the engine in the back, you might be thinking, okay, it has a boot in the front. I'll show you what is in the front, and it's not the boot. Well, I'll take you right there. But when you see, there's the only space you have is behind the seats, and that's all you do have. And that is not what you're expecting from a 30 lakh sports car. Well, 30 lakh new. As you see, the Octavia VRS that we filmed earlier is also roughly around 35 lakhs rupees, and that looks like a lot more better bike compared to the DC Avanti. Well, I think it is. Let's pop the hood and I'll show you what's beneath. Well, the DC Avanti comes with a Renault Duster 4-cylinder and a gated manual gearbox, as I showed you in the interior. But do you see the small tire peeping out? DC, tell me one thing. How on earth are you planning to take this tire out in case one of your 20 inches gets punctured? Please let me know. And the only intake for this car is from that pipe there, which all the way goes down to this panel. So the all air that comes is through that little hole. The whole engine feeds on air, and that's how much DC has decided to give it. It does have heat shielding, you can see right there, but I don't think that's any useful. Well, heat shielding does continue. It does have a catalytic converter and also some wiring. As you may see, the tail lights are all LED units. They do have brake lights, indicator lights and reverse lights. Well, the battery in this vehicle is low because DC does not supply with anything. So actually, since the DC Avanti stopped production, DC has completely abandoned the DC Avanti. Well, abandoned is the correct word, because you can't get service parts for this vehicle because it's so rare. And this car uses Renault, so I think all you'll be going to is a Trident Renault to get spark plugs and oil change. Well, I don't think even Renault appreciates it. So, is the Avanti actually worth? Before that, let me show you the boot space. Well, the boot space, I mean, the frunk, not the trunk. Trunk is actually the rare word, I learned that yesterday. This is actually called the frunk. Let me show you the frunk. So you can plan to take your DC Avanti on long road trips. So the latch is here. So I unlatch it there. And all the way when you come back here, there's no latch or anything. You just pull this and pull it up. That is all it opens. And this is your frunk space. I kid you not, this is all it is. There are two radial fans for AC and some electronics there. That does look like an ABS pump and a huge battery. Tell me where you're planning to keep your luggage. I'm listening. It does have some washer fluid there, and God knows where you put oil. Let's do one thing. Let's give it a cold start. Well, I don't think it will start because it has a battery issue, but if it does start, we'll do some baby revs, and if not, we'll just give it a shot, shall we? Because I'm not a lot excited for this car, even though it looks its part. Let's close down this frunk. And let's move towards the back. Well, a cold start for the DC Avanti. Well, that's the cold start. Fun fact about the DC Avanti. Well, if you actually start numbering the numbers of Avantis in the market today, you'll be shocked because it is actually more rarer compared to a Lamborghini Murcielago, and I'm talking the gated version. Yeah, you heard me right. There are less than 100 DC Avantis on the road today. Well, that's because DC decided to abandon the Avanti. And abandon was the right word because you can see a lot of Avantis. Well, I will show you one here. A lot of them are just abandoned. Okay, so they're not even finished. They're customer cars that are not even done. So just imagine what DC was working when they decided they're going to launch the DC Avanti as a normal computer. Well, let's just wrap up the video. So this will officially wrap the video for the DC Avanti. Tell me how you liked it, and here's the details. Let's finish the Avanti with the details. This is the DC Avanti from 2015. It does have a well, it has HP. HP I think stands for Haryana Pradesh. It does have a Haryana Pradesh registration plate. It is only a single owner. It is a petrol vehicle, as I told you, there's only one model. It does have only 1,200 kilometers, as we saw in the gauge earlier. It does have insurance, and the vehicle is 21 lakh rupees. Is it worth 21 lakhs? According to me, no. It does make a really good, well, project car. If anyone wants to take project, swap it, I guess, with the K series. Well, let's end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a short video, a small walk around the DC Avanti, and I think I am getting a little better at this, you know. And I hope you liked the video. Let's finish up the video here. Please like and subscribe, and also share this video with some of your friends who are interested in sports cars videos. And let's hope for future videos. I'll catch you on the other side.